AM 1600 KIVA, ABQ.FM on your app, rockoftalk.com on your computer, and now for Roku TV, as well as Apple Plus and Amazon Fire TV, it's Tego and Tracy Venturi, the Venturi Real Estate Group from Keller Williams Realty. You can pick up the phone and dial them direct, 448-8888. That's 448-8888, or welcomehomeabq.com. That's welcomehomeabq.com. There we go. I finally got the right banding there on the bottom for Tego and Tracy. It's like,
there we go.
Why am I looking at my stuff? And I'm not. I'm looking at their stuff. It's right there. The band on the bottom presents all the places that they're at. Don't forget to download the app as well as SoundCloud and Stitcher. Tego, Tracy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Eddie. On this, looks like we're getting a little blast of winter back again.
The polar vortex, but thank God you guys aren't up in the Midwest, Michigan, Minnesota. You are here in beautiful Nuevo Mexico, where this is the worst of it, right? I mean, what are we, 25, 30 degrees? We should count our blessings for living in the most beautiful state in the country. And you both help make it so. And Tego and Tracy love real estate. They want you to love your homes. Happy Valentine's Day. And we just happen to have the only Valentine's Day couple on the radio doing the radio show.
Right.
And
Happy
I love
Valentine's Day.
that is beautiful. I got to say that. Who doesn't love to see happiness, Tego and Tracy?
Thanks for giving him the heads up, Eddie, and reminding him.
Is it Valentine's Day soon? Oh, no. Really? I didn't know. It just sneaks up on me.
Love your home falling out of love. Too much together time. Tego and Tracy will talk a little bit about that, like nobody else can on radio. 2020 redefined the meaning of home. Yes, it did. That is for sure. We'll also talk about 47% of new buyers surprised by how affordable homes are today. The affordability index has maybe never been better. We should definitely talk about that. Forecast for 2021, as we are now midway through our second month from all the experts, and your real estate experts are Tego and Tracy. Forbearance update. If you don't know what the big bear is, well, it's coming. We are open again, so we should talk a little bit about the fact that even small amounts is something to celebrate at this time. I don't want
progress.
to say
We'll
thank
take
you to anybody, but I'm excited about the fact that at least we can start talking about it. And the affordability statistics are surprising from a historical perspective. Wow, I don't know that I think we almost need an hour or two. Don't forget we have our homes of the week as well as our open houses of the week. Tego, Tracy, our little lovebirds on Valentine's Day for their edition here of Albuquerque Real Estate Talk. Tego, Tracy, take it away.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eddie, as always.
It's also the Lunar New Year, so Gung Hei Fat Choi. It's
yes, that's right.
The Lunar New Year. We're going to do some celebrating with friends like we do every year. We look for every reason we can, right, Tego? To celebrate. Got
to keep.
So, Valentine's weekend, and it's the kickoff to the Lunar New Year, or the Chinese New Year, or the Vietnamese New Year, whatever way you want to look at it.
It's not necessary. People call it Chinese New Year, but it really isn't technically Chinese New Year.
Correct. Lunar New Year.
Lunar New Year.
Right.
Got it.
So, so that's exciting too. I love that time because it always gives us another reason to eat more food.
Yeah, just what we need.
Just what we need.
Yeah.
So, Tego, I know we're going to get to stats, and I know we're going to get to some open houses and some coming soon properties. Let's talk about falling in love with your house, or maybe you have fallen out of love with your house. You know, we've been spending a lot more time home this past year. And like Eddie just said, maybe we get to spend a little less time in our home, but we now know what it's like to be home a lot.
Well, it's interesting because like Eddie said in the opening there is, 2020 redefined the meaning of home and what does home mean?
Right.
It's not just a house. It's not just a piece of real estate, although many times in our business, it unfortunately can get kind of mechanical like that, but it isn't. I mean, a home has a lot behind it, right?
It really does. And there's a lot of satisfaction in home ownership, and part of why it's easy to fall in love with home ownership. Okay, so we can talk about all of the financial reasons to love being a homeowner, right? We know it's the single most important way people build wealth.
Let's see, I had to get the right side. That's the left brain, right? So it's the left brain, right? It's the logical
way.
It's the engineer brain. Let's put it that way, right?
There's a lot of solid, sound reasons, financial reasons why to be a homeowner. When we talk to people who have owned a home for a few years and they realize how much equity they've built, wealth built into their family's financial picture, it's huge. But there's other things about being a homeowner, right? So it's the security, comfort, stability of being a homeowner, right? You know where you're going to be. You don't have that, will the landlord decide to sell the house, or will the apartment complex be raising my rent, or
and if I want to paint my bedrooms purple, can I just do that? Right.
The other thing is, the house is uniquely yours. Like you said,
right.
If you want to paint your room purple, go find your own house to live in, Tego. But,
whoa,
you still have me to deal with. But
I didn't see that one coming.
The house is uniquely yours, and you can decorate it how you want. You can change it. You can remove walls. You can remodel. You can do different things in your yard and your fencing, and it's yours.
Well, and I know so many people, and it will resonate with this, is there's certain projects that we do around the house that are just kind of like this meditative Zen kind of thing, right? Mowing the lawn, doing yard work. I know people go, well, that's work. It's like, well, no, it depends what, type of work you do, but sometimes just doing some physical work, is great, and it's therapeutic, and I like it. I know that's, again, I'm left brain, you're right brain.
Sort of ironic that you would say that. Yesterday afternoon, I was cleaning the yard from all of our dogs, and it was like beautiful. It was like 64, and
like they didn't mow the lawn. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, no, I was picking up after our three dogs. And something you wouldn't know anything about.
I can't relate at all.
I find it sort of cathartic. Like you said, the dogs are outside. They like that I'm outside. It was a beautiful day. It felt very rewarding for me. But anyway, and today was trash day, so it's all gone. And
you were already wearing a mask, so it was all good.
Yeah, no mask.
No mask in the yard. Yeah. Got it.
So anyway, then there's the whole wealth building thing. But the other thing that I think we haven't talked about much, Tego, when it comes to being a homeowner, is your sense of community, right? That you're a part of something. You have some vested interest in knowing your neighbors. And when you go to the park, meeting people, when you're out on walks, it's your community. You're paying attention. You're more security aware for your neighbors and things, and maintaining it. And then it's something to be proud of, right?
Yeah.
Home ownership is definitely something. It's a big accomplishment and something to be proud of. And I love it. We had this meeting this morning with our team, and we had some conversations about some feedback we'd gotten from recent home buyers, right? And some of the testimonials that came through this week we read out loud, and it was, those awesome, heartwarming stories about how they've dreamed about being in a home. And it's like, I can't believe this happened, and you were a part of it, and we never thought we could own a home. And with all the hand holding from the lender and you as my realtor, it was sort of our love story meeting, right? So we were reading some of the love stories back to us for being a part of this important part of their lives, and it was really touching. It was really awesome.
Yeah, and sometimes, the first time home buyers can be really satisfying too, because again, it's people that maybe never thought they would be a homeowner are now a homeowner. And we were talking about this whole idea. We get a lot of calls, Tracy, from people looking for rental properties, right?
Right.
And we don't deal in rental properties, and just the way the market is, it just doesn't work that way for us. But there are companies that specialize in property management, right?
Right.
You were going to say?
I was going to say we often give them resources to help them find rentals.
Oh, absolutely.
And sometimes we do know about rentals that might be available, but it's not our specialty.
And of course, when those people call in, we always say, have you thought about owning a home? And that's what we do, right? And, to educate people. And many times people say, well, no, I can't afford it, or my credit's no good.
Or I don't have a down payment.
Yeah, this and that. And I think there's misperceptions out there about what it could take for some of those people. There's programs out there right now. If somebody has a 580 credit score, they may be able to qualify to purchase a home.
Right.
Now, finding a home, that's a different conversation, and that's that's just in the market we're in right now. But I'm talking big picture.
Right.
There are programs, and then even people with bad credit scores, right? There's help.
Well, there is. We know of a really great program.
Well, and of course, Michael Trujillo comes on after us, and that's what he does, right? Is help people with the credit scores.
There's ways to get your credit scores up and get you in a home. And we know of a new home builder who will sign a contract with you to buy a house that might be under construction and still be 3 to 6 months from being built or completed the build.
Yeah.
And they will still go under contract with you if they look at your credit score and can see that you're going to be able to get it raised up in time to close on that new construction. So some awesome things, and, lots of reasons to talk to us and find out if there's a way for you to become a homeowner. So give us a ring. As you know, we have a team, a lot of great realtors that work with us to help you with either home buying or home selling. 448-8888 is our number. We try to answer it every day of the week, so it depends on when you're listening. But we really are, our goal is to answer it even if it's 6 o'clock on a Friday night. So
fall in love with your home.
Ring. So,
Just one last comment on this whole concept of falling in love with your home. How many times, Tracy, have we seen people that are just like frustrated with their home? It's not working for them quite right, and they decide to sell it. And then they start doing a bunch of work to get it ready to sell. Or they maybe bring in an interior designer or stager to help them kind of rearrange their furniture, maybe get some new furniture. And then all of a sudden they go, oh my gosh, I really love this house.
Right.
I should own this house. And so I just, obviously we love to help people sell homes, but I mean, think about that, right?
So that TV show, Love It or List It.
Oh, right.
That's
HGTV. That's the concept, right?
So they go and the one person goes in and helps them redo their current home so that they will love it, right? But when you have fallen out of love with your home, and this past year, I know a lot of people have fallen out of love with their home. It's not meeting their needs for how they live now. It's the best time to call us, talk about putting a strategy together to get your home sold and get you top dollar, because the way we market it is, really top notch. We're not going to just do it halfway, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a great time. We're in, February, but it's going to be a kind of crummy weekend. I bet a lot of people will stay home.
Crummy? Well, you could,
light the fire.
Light the fire that you've never used in New Mexico.
And have a Valentine's party at home.
Yeah.
Little candlelight dinner to
There you go. Oh,
yeah. There you go.
So think about that. Tracy, I want to talk about affordability.
Changing the topic quickly.
I'm changing the topic quickly. It's interesting because there's been a lot of stories out there talking about affordable housing. And that is a conversation that needs to be had.
That's very different from affordability.
Correct.
Right.
Affordability, when we're talking about homes and specifically compared to historically. So Tracy, there was a story that came out, and a lot of people are seeing these headlines that, there's no affordable housing. And so all of a sudden they think, well, homes are not affordable. The reality is that homes are actually comparatively very affordable historically.
Totally. When you think about how much of somebody's typical income needs to go towards housing these days, it's very low compared to historical. Your percentage of how much you earn that goes towards housing has become much better.
Wait, I've got a stat for that. I've got a stat for that.
My Statomatic.
I've got a stat for that. So there's a couple different things you can look at. So there's this National Association of Realtor does a housing affordability index. They've been doing it for a long time. If you go back to 1990 is the chart I have. And what they look at is, the whole package. They're not looking at just prices of home. They're accounting for mortgage rates. They're accounting for income. So they're looking at median income versus what homes cost versus what the payments are, including insurances and taxes and everything. And the thing that's fascinating is 2020 was, back to 1990, it is the fifth most affordable year. The only years where it was more affordable were the post-recession. So, 2009, 10, 11, 12, right? Those were the the good years, right? We should have all bought more homes back then, right?
Yeah.
Just like we all should have bought Bitcoin 5 years ago, but don't get me started.
Hopefully when we used to talk about it a lot, some of the people that we mentioned it to did buy it and still hold it because
when we were doing the show, remember,
severals.
Tracy, we were doing this show back in, when did we start the show? Was it 2010? I don't remember.
It's been 7+ years.
Okay, so it was later.
13,
so it was
14,
12,
15.
13. And at the time we were saying it's a buyer's market. It's time to buy. It's time to buy.
It was
homes.
a tough time to buy, though, because there wasn't lending programs, right? The lending was very difficult because a lot of the mortgage programs had gone away.
I'm going to push back on that. The easy lending had gone away.
Right.
But the people that could actually pay had no problem qualifying. Right. It was just that the easy programs went away.
All of the unique programs that catered to different scenarios were not in place.
Yeah.
So
and the reality is those programs for the most part have not come back. A lot of those programs, helped create the housing bubble back in 2008. So anyway, we're getting way off track here. Affordability. So the reality is, right now, affordability is at a very historic low. And also, if you look at another piece of data, it's a percentage of income needed for a mortgage payment. It decreased drastically in 2020. So historic norm is about 21%, 22% of your income toward your housing, and that could be rent, that could be a mortgage. However, so 21% in as of right now we're at 14.9, 15%. So it's a huge decrease,
right? Affordability.
in the affordability, and even though home prices have come up.
So what's helping that, Tego, is that interest rates are so low, you can afford more house.
Of course.
So because home prices are up, you can still afford them because of the lower interest rates.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. And so I just want to talk about that, and just one other chart to talk about is the typical mortgage payment in 2020. They were saying it was $826. That's just adjusted principal and interest, and that's for a very average home, right? In 2006, it was $1,300, right? So it's a substantial difference.
Interest rates were about 7.5% then.
Sounds about right.
When I was a newly licensed realtor in 2002, we were typically in that 7.5% range. And then a few years later, when we got better, it was 7. So, sometimes we'd be in that 7.5 range through 2006. That's my recollection.
So the takeaway is, don't make a decision based on a headline that says, home prices are going up and they're up this much from last year or whatever, right? Or you see a headline that said there's no affordable housing on the market. Again, affordable housing is an issue. We look at the Albuquerque market right now. I mean, how many homes in Albuquerque right now, Tracy, you're in the MLS, are on the market under 200,000? It's got to be less than, it's got to be a few hundred, right? And so, that is a challenge. There are less lower price homes on the market without a doubt. And so it does take a little more work right now if you're thinking to buy. So speaking of,
we just put one on the market at 1812 Morris Street Northeast. It's sort of Indian School and Morris.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
$255,000. And that one just hit the market Friday, and it's a 4-bedroom house, single story. It's kind of got a 2-car garage, and one half of it was converted into an office. It's a 1-car garage with a heated and cooled office in the other garage stall.
Right.
So it's probably a 3-bedroom plus that office space. $255,000 though, open today or Saturday from 12 to 2.
Technically, it's a bedroom.
It is. It has a closet. It has a door.
Closet isn't required.
I know, but the listeners are wondering. And it has a door out to the outside.
What's the definition of a bedroom,
It
Tracy?
has to have a bathroom available, right?
Well, it has
two forms of egress.
It's the egress that's the big deal.
Yeah.
One of the means of egress has to be an exterior wall. So you can't have a bedroom in the middle of a house without an exterior wall
Right.
for
It's
egress.
all about fire safety.
Yeah.
We had another one that's on the market now, Catson, 6,000 Catson Northeast. It's an attached townhome, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage for $242,500, and that one is also open Saturday from 11 to 1, and really nice property, like San Pedro, just north of Montgomery.
Yep.
And another one that I just love.
It's right by the high school. It's right by
Del Norte.
Del Norte.
The one on Snowflake. So 65 Snowflake Trail. This is technically Edgewood, but it's Northwest Edgewood.
A home on Snowflake is perfect for Kiva listeners.
Yeah, and especially for the weekend weather.
Some of you guys will get the joke.
Okay, so Snowflake, 65 Snowflake Trail in Edgewood. It's Northwest Edgewood, and it's actually in a very wooded area, so it's not what you might think of as Edgewood. It's in, what's the name of this neighborhood?
Well, it's right off. So if you go
Thunder Mountain.
Yeah,
Thunder Mountain
Estates. Yep.
And this one's just over 2 acres. It's a 2-story house, 300,000. It's not what you think of as Edgewood.
Is that Santa Fe County or Bernalillo County?
Does it matter?
I'm just curious. I think it's Santa Fe County.
Probably is.
Well, because it's east of Mountain Valley Road, so then it would be. Yeah, then it would be Santa Fe County. So, but the thing that's interesting about this neighborhood, when people hear Edgewood, they just think of this, flat, plain, windswept or something. Not everybody. I mean, Edgewood's actually got some pretty cool places, but this is one of these really cool places where it's kind of hilly. There's kind of like this, I want to call it a mountain, maybe a knoll, but like this hill.
It's like a hill that's treed.
It's treed, yeah. So it's
nice.
it's a neat spot. So check it out, 300,000 if you want to get out of town.
So we're having, we have other properties that are coming soon. So if you're looking for something specific, give us a ring and maybe we can help get you into that home. 505-26. What's the number? 448-8888.
You started to give out your cell phone number.
Which I have no problem giving out, but it's the 448-8888 will be picked up a lot better than my cell phone.
Yeah, I wanted to, okay, so can I change the subject?
Let's talk about forbearance. I want to get to that topic. So that's been a big topic.
It's a hard topic. Okay, it's funny. I've gone to the chiropractor. I went to the eye doctor, and every time I end up, just in the last few weeks, and every time I end up talking about real estate, right? Oh, yeah. Tell me about this and
Everyone
tell me about
has this thing
once
about
they hear my name,
and think it's going to be this big deal. So if somebody's coming out of forbearance, Tego.
Well, I want to just talk about some stats real quick, if I may.
Good idea.
If I may.
Stats.
If I may.
Love those stats.
Well, yeah. Picking up on your sarcasm.
No, I love it that you know stats.
Well, one of the things that's been going on is, back at the beginning of the pandemic, there were over 5 million people that took a forbearance plan. And so what that means is they went to their lender and said, hey, can't make my payment because of COVID, and I need to just put a pause on my mortgage payment. So there was over 5 million. Well, now we're down to about 2.7 million. Again, we're talking nationwide, obviously, and that's good. The thing that is interesting is of those people that have come off of that program, over 3 million, 52% of them just basically
They're paid up.
They're paid up, right? They either just started making payments, or they refinanced, or they sold their home. So
they continued to make payments while they filed for forbearance because they weren't sure if they were going to be able to keep paying their payment, but they were able to.
A lot of those people were probably people that took the forbearance plan thinking, we'll just do it just in case. It's kind of there was a lot of mystery back in March and April of last year, and so people just did it. So, and the rest of those, or not the rest, but a third of those, they basically just said, well, we're going to work something out. So they're actually working out something with the bank.
A repayment plan.
Yep.
And that could be that whatever they didn't pay, if they actually did skip some payments, that they tacked it on to the end of their loan, or they've done some sort of repayment plan that they can afford temporarily, or
Right. And
so that's upon exiting the forbearance plan. Another 33% have a repayment plan. 52% of them are paid in full. What about the other 15%?
Well, the other 15% are in trouble, right? They're in some sort of loss mitigation plan. So either they're basically not making their payments. So they could either just sell their home if they got the equity, or if they don't have the equity, then the very last thing would be it would go into foreclosure.
Well, they could go to short sale first and sell their home.
Absolutely.
Right? So we negotiate with lenders on behalf of sellers that ask them if they can't afford to sell their home because it's not worth enough to pay off the underlying mortgage. We work with the sellers to negotiate to have the lender take short what they're owed so that we can get the home sold versus going into foreclosure.
I've kind of erased short sales from my mind because back in 2009, 10, we did a fair amount of them, and they were really difficult back then because there were so many of those properties. The banks weren't geared up for it. Now it's actually it's a much easier process. So that's one of those options for people that do find themselves, in that group of people. I want to just one more comment I want to make, and I think it's important. The narrative out there has been that if you're in all those people, the 2.7 million people that are still in forbearance, those are automatically going to be foreclosures and get dumped on the market, and we're going to have this mass flow of homes coming on the market. And that is just not what's going to happen. Come March, April, we'll know because a lot of those plans will expire. And again, so people could, they could just, if they're financially able, they'll just start making their payments and just move on. They'll work it out with the bank. Another group
Can
of
I
people.
just add in there that, New Mexico is behind the curve on people getting back to work because our restaurants just opened indoors at 25%, right? But a lot of the country have gotten back to work compared to New Mexico. So we kind of think about New Mexico and how many people are still out of work because of our climate here.
Yep.
But, much of the country is back to work. So that this 15% will change. But go ahead.
Well, and I just wanted to bring you into this conversation, but let me just follow up on that. So these people that are still going to be coming out, or if you're one of them coming out of this forbearance plan, you're not sure what to do. There's options. And so again, just assuming that just because somebody is in forbearance, it's going to end up in foreclosure and be a bank sale, that's just not true. There's going to be people that have equity and can just sell, or take the short sale option, or whatever it is. And so
I would say really have a private conversation with us to talk about the options, right?
That's exactly what I was getting to. So Tracy, if somebody is in a forbearance situation, they want to know what their options are outside of what the bank is offering them,
call us. Let's sit down. Let's have a private conversation, look at your situation and see how we can best help you with whatever direction you need to go.
Back in, again, I'll go back to 08, 09, we help so many people, but what happens when you get in a really tight financial situation, you might just go, I don't know the other expression other than bury your head in the sand and just hope it all goes away. But don't. You have options.
Right.
And let us help you uncover what those options are.
And, just like before, when we had people in distress with their homes, if you know somebody, that needs help, have them reach out, because to ignore it is only going to make it worse, right? And there's nothing to be ashamed of. Nobody's, COVID came, it affected people. It doesn't mean anything about the person. It's the whole situation of what's happened to our economy because of a virus, right? So there's nothing to be ashamed of. Let's figure out the best path for you.
Yeah, I think the just to wrap up this conversation is forbearances are out there. We're going to have some, homes that need to figure out a solution. Call us, let us know, where you're at and see. Again, unlike 2008, people have a ton, I was going to use another word, but I'll just say a ton of equity in their homes. There's so much more equity, built-in equity in homes today. Plus in 2008, we already had 9 months supply of inventory. when the bottom fell out. Well, right now we have whatever 1 month supply of inventory, meaning that demand is still very strong, supply is still very low, and I'm sure there's a buyer out there waiting for your home.
So let's change this and end on the love note,
Okay.
Eddie. We want people to love where they live, right? And if you don't love where you live, let's find you a place where you can love it. Just trying to remind Tego one more time that it's Valentine weekend.
Hey, it's Valentine's Day, Tego.
Well, the restaurants are open. I don't, we'll see.
Even the 10-3 at the top of the tram is open again.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
they're open.
We've done our homework. It sounds like that's a nice elbow to the ribs saying hint, hint, Tego. So maybe you get in a res over at 10-3 on the top of the crest. That would be beautiful. Tego, Tracy, we love your show. We want people to love their homes, and all you have to do so is dial direct 448-8888. That's 448-8888, or welcomehomeabq.com. That's welcomehomeabq.com.